Egypt's interim President Adly Mansour has signed into law new rules on holding protests, which human rights groups have condemned as repressive. The final version of the law has yet to be issued, but reports say it requires permission from the police in advance before protests can be held. Mass protests have led to the toppling of two presidents in the past 3 years. The law was signed as more protests took place in several cities. Thousands of supporters of deposed President Mohammed Morsi gathered in Cairo and elsewhere. They were marking 100 days since security forces broke up sit-ins calling for his reinstatement. Violence which saw hundreds killed. Reports say tear gas was fired to disperse some of Sunday's protesters. A similar protest on Friday in Cairo led to clashes with anti-Morsi demonstrators and police. Mr. Morsi, who has roots in political Islam, is currently on trial alongside other leading members of the Muslim Brotherhood on charges including incitement to the killing of protesters in 2012. Criminalize. Human rights groups in Egypt rejected the draft law before it was enacted by interim President Mansour. The draft law seeks to criminalize all forms of peaceful assembly, including demonstrations and public meetings, and gives the state free hand to disperse peaceful gatherings by use of force, 19 Egyptian organizations said in a statement. But Prime Minister Hassan Biblai, speaking to AFP news agency, said the new law was designed to protect the right of protesters and require them to give notice rather than seek permission. Government sources were quoted as saying the legislation had been watered down to require 3 rather than 7 days' notice. Parliamentary and presidential elections are due to take place next year, but human rights groups have accused the military-backed authorities of anti-democratic tendencies. Thousands of Muslim Brotherhood members have been detained since Mr. Morsi's overthrow, though the authorities say this is part of combating terrorism.